around 5:45 Eastern Time this morning, Trump was projected to win Wisconsin, securing the 270 Electoral College votes needed for him to win the U.S. presidential election. As of midday today, he's slated to win Pennsylvania and Georgia as well. He won the popular vote by about 5 million votes so far. The Senate has flipped to Republican control. The House remains too close to call. The stock market opened this morning with record highs after Trump's victory was announced. Today, we're going to talk about how this happened and what this means going forward. Let's get into it. This election season, disinformation has been more rampant than ever, and the media is increasingly controlled by billionaires who have a stake in our election results. Because of this, understanding the bias in the news you're consuming, gaining media literacy, and stepping out of your echo chamber are all more important than ever. For example, on Ground News, I found this story about yesterday's election. Trump claims victory after Fox News projects he has won U.S. presidency. In the 620 articles Ground News gathered covering this topic, you can see the left and right are emphasizing very different aspects of this story. On the left, MSNBC's headline reads, "Donald Trump defeats Kamala Harris to secure second term. This is who we are now." Centrist publication Reuters headline reads, "Trump claims victory after Fox News projects he has won U.S. presidency." And right-leaning Fox News has the headline, "Trump vows to lead golden age of America in victory speech. Fix everything." You can see the despair and negative bent on the left, while the right is clearly feeling triumphant. Seeing the headlines laid out like this can help you better understand the political divide, how we got here, and the role modern media plays. This is where Ground News comes in, and why I've been using them for over a year. Today's partner, Ground News, is a great tool for understanding the news. They offer helpful context you need when faced with starkly different headlines about the same story. Here you can see the overall bias distribution of the news sources covering this story, with bias evenly split, indicating this is being covered extensively across the political spectrum. If you scroll down, you can see the overall factuality rating of the sources, with over half of the sources being highly factual. You can also see more information about who owns which source, including media conglomerates and wealthy private owners, some of whom have showed clear favor for one candidate over the other. All of these tools can be really helpful to provide more context to your own echo chamber. You and your social media may have had one expectation of who the clear winner would be in this election, but it's important to understand the larger picture and what people outside your bubble are saying. And I'm able to get all this context and information thanks to Ground News. My favorite Ground News feature at the moment is their blind spot feed. With a bird's eye view of issues that tend to get more attention from the left or right than others, I can easily step out of my echo chamber and understand how partisan narratives shape reality and votes. This can help with staying informed but not overwhelmed, something I think we could all use right now. I'm always really impressed with Ground News and genuinely think they're a great resource for identifying biases in the media. So scan my QR code, click the link in the description, or go to ground.news/Leeja to get an increased discount of 50% off the same Vantage plan I use to stay informed, which comes to about $5 a month, only for a limited time. Get unlimited access to all Ground News has to offer while helping an independent team keep the media transparent. Thanks, Ground News. Leading up to this election, despite some renegade pollsters predicting decisive Harris landslides across the country, most polls showed that this race was truly neck and neck. And in this, the polls were not wrong. Trump's win was not a landslide, but it wasn't outside the realm of possibility given what we knew going into yesterday. And yet, I personally was not prepared for this outcome, if I can be honest. I simply could not be bothered to even put makeup on for those of you watching the video version of this podcast, because we're keeping it real and raw for you today here at Why America with Leeja Miller, the show that uncovers the why behind the headlines, okay? I did not adequately emotionally prepare myself for this. I really bought into the hype. I really felt like this momentum and hope I was feeling for the first time since 2016 wouldn't end like it did in 2016. And as much as I hate to be proven wrong, I can admit when it happens. And while I feel taken by surprise, I don't feel quite like how I felt in 2016. 2016 floored me because I've spent my life in liberal bubbles and was caught wholly unaware of the bigotry and hatred in this country. I had truly eaten up the lie that I was taught since grade school that was a thing of the past. Today, I'm less surprised to have confirmed for me what I already learned back in 2016. But I think the thing that is so disheartening is that in 2016, I could tell myself, these people have no idea what they just signed up for. They just weren't paying attention. They just know Trump as a businessman. Surely, if they knew of how he speaks about people, what his policy proposals are, they wouldn't have voted for him. I cannot today be reassured about that. People know who Trump is. They watched his criminal trial unfold. They've listened to him and the people he surrounds himself with call immigrants in other countries foul names. They've watched as, in courtroom after courtroom, he's been found liable for sexual assault. Even if they're not familiar with the inner workings of Project 2025 or who Peter Thiel is, they've listened to him say there'll be no more elections after him and he'll be a dictator on day one. They watched our Capitol be overtaken on January 6th, 2021, and the hundreds of prosecutions that came after that. And they said, very decisively, sign me up for another 4 years. In the early hours of this morning, Donald Trump said that this is a referendum, and it is. Harris put up a good fight, but Trump just won the popular vote, a first for a Republican in 2 decades. The New York Times has a map showing the shift since 2020 in each county, left or right. It's a sea of red. This was a rightward swing across the country, and this was not a fluke. Even my county, where Minneapolis is, moved slightly right. And people knew who they were voting for. We love watching those gotcha videos from Trump rallies where some wily liberal gets a Republican voter to say the darndest things, because we can point and say, they're just dumb. They just don't actually know what they're saying. But I think that lets them off the hook too easily. They know. They know what they voted for. Maybe not everything, and none of us can predict the true consequences, but they knew what they were doing. And for me, I think what happened is I deluded myself into thinking that finally things were scary enough, that real consequences were being felt across the country, that issues like abortion, women's rights, LGBTQ rights, those things would matter enough that people would remove their heads from their own asses and vote to protect the people around them. I see now that that was naive. The results, along with the exit polling, shows that, as always, people's perception of the economy and their own pocketbook is the number one thing that animated this election, for white people specifically. White women, predictably, did not show up and create a wave of change this year. As with 2016 and 2020, white people who hold most of the economic power voted for Republicans, the party that is perceived as better at the economy. Even young white people did not vote overwhelmingly Democrat. NBC exit polling shows that a majority of those polled, 67%, feel the economy is not so good or poor, and those who felt that way voted majority Republican. 45% of respondents believe their family's financial situation is worse today than it was 4 years ago, and 80% of those people voted Republican. Fully 75% of respondents say inflation has caused their family moderate or severe hardship, and most of those people voted Republican. 72% said they feel either dissatisfied or angry about the way things are going in this country, and most of those people voted Republican. On the things Americans tend to care about the most, they perceived Trump to be the best at dealing with them across the board. The economy, immigration, crime and safety. 58% either somewhat or strongly disapprove of Joe Biden, and of those people, they voted overwhelmingly Republican. The numbers are pointing to the fact that people do not like how things have been going, and they see, despite all odds and evidence to the contrary, despite hundreds of economists saying, hey, Trump's economic plans will actually be disastrous, they see Trump as the solution to those problems. Fully 43% of those responding to exit polls confirm that they do not see Donald Trump's views as too extreme. 43%. This is America. This is not who we are now. This is not a seismic shift. This is who we are. The polling accurately predicted this. There was no widespread voter fraud. The people have spoken. Numerous hoax bomb threats were called in key battleground states, causing some confusion and later than expected poll closings. The FBI is investigating potential Russian links to those bomb threats. In a future video, I will break down all the ways that this election was tampered with by outside actors, both foreign governments and domestic billionaires. But I want to make clear that there is no evidence or credible accusations as of this recording of massive voter fraud, enough to have gained Trump 5 million popular votes and all of the swing states he's won. He won this as legitimately as an election can be won in a system with a racist electoral college that allows for billions and billions of dollars to be spent indiscriminately to sway the results. The people have spoken. Let's talk about what this means going forward. A number of states yesterday voted to enshrine the right to an abortion in their state constitutions. That's a silver lining in an otherwise grim day. The other silver lining being that here in Minnesota, we get to keep tin walls. Yay. And Trump has said repeatedly that the question of abortion should be left to the states. States' rights is a favorite tenet of Republican beliefs when it serves their purposes. There is absolutely a world, however, where a national abortion ban could be introduced and passed. We are still waiting to see if the House is going to be majority Democrat or Republican, but we already know that there is a strong far-right coalition there. And the Senate is now controlled by a Republican majority. Whether that federal law can trump the state laws across the country protecting abortion is likely a question that will need to be litigated, given that the Supreme Court said pretty decisively in Dobbs that the decision should be with the states. But there's also a world where the Supreme Court once again overrules itself in order to allow the federal ban to move forward. And speaking of the Supreme Court, Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito will retire during Trump's term. If I were them, Oh, so I can ride off into the sunset, legacy intact, facing zero consequences for my clear ethical violations, go hang out full-time with my billionaire friends with zero scrutiny, and profit unchecked off that intact reputation through book deals and speaking gigs, all while knowing that I will be replaced by equally, if not more, conservative justices who are much younger than me and can retain the conservative majority in the court long after I'm dead? And I'll be seen as a selfless hero by conservatives everywhere? Yeah, sign me up. And with a majority in the Senate, a majority that is no longer filled by any Republicans who are willing to stand up to Trump, Trump will have very little standing in the way of his cabinet or judicial appointees, not just to the Supreme Court, but to every federal judiciary in the country. And I don't think Sonia Sotomayor retiring now is going to solve that, given the Republicans' history of blocking Supreme Court nominations by Democratic presidents. Those judicial appointments, in turn, will assist with Republican-led efforts to sail above any attempted legal challenges to whatever new batshit crazy law they want to pass. Based on what Trump has promised and what Project 2025 will call for, the manifesto for which will no doubt not only land on Trump's desk on day one, but also be distributed to every conservative member of Congress. Those crazy laws, either passed by Congress or enacted through presidential executive order, will include enacting oppressively high tariffs on all goods coming from outside the U.S., a move economists the world over predict would tank not only the U.S. economy, but the entire global economy as well, leading to severe price hikes and job losses. Firing civil servants and changing their jobs to be by presidential appointment so he can insert loyalists at every agency in the government. Using the impoundment power to block federal funding to agencies, getting rid of the EPA, the Department of Education, and severely limiting the capacities of key agencies that protect consumers and regulate the safety of everything from pharmaceuticals to deli meats. Leeja Khan, head of the FTC, has been hard at work suing the pants off mega corporations for their unconscionable monopolistic practices. She will be out, and any lawsuit underway will be terminated. Corporations whose billionaire owners were hard at work this election season throwing money at Trump in the hopes of this exact outcome will be able to grow unchecked, knowing they will face little to no consequences for their actions. Carrying out the largest deportation in history, including reinstating the Muslim ban, Remain in Mexico, and other policies that saw children locked in cages at the border. This could include rescinding DACA, refugee protections, and many other policies that have allowed people to immigrate legally to this country, and the deportation of those immigrants who came in through those legal channels. If successful, the deportation plan will cost billions of dollars and will likely scoop up lawful residents and U.S. citizens in their dragnets. Mass tax cuts for the rich, which will further increase the federal deficit, all but ensuring the end to Social Security benefits. Deep cuts to Medicare, Medicaid, and all other social safety nets that millions of people rely on throughout the country. Withdrawal from the Paris Climate Agreement, removal of tax incentives for green initiatives, and a deep expansion of our reliance on fossil fuels. Withdrawal from NATO and a deepening divide between the U.S. and our historic allies, and more. And all of this will go largely unchecked by a judiciary that will be dominated by conservative Trump appointees from top to bottom. This is all stuff we've been talking about on this show for years at this point, and I don't mean to freak you out by presenting them all to you again, but I'm someone who tends to want to face the facts and find solutions. Today, I don't really have solutions for you, but I do have facts. This is the part where I'm supposed to give you a pep talk and say, hey, listen, we live to fight another day. The arc of the universe bends towards justice. We can't let them win. I'm not feeling that today. I've been reconsidering my decision not to move to Europe, which I made a whole episode about. I've been wondering if there's any point to continuing this show because clearly I'm screaming into a void. I'm going to continue because I do care and I have bills to pay, but I'm just being honest about what's been going through my head and the panic I've been feeling since about 10 o'clock last night when I realized it wasn't going our way. Saying, hey, let's keep fighting is not in my heart right now, and it's fine if it's not in yours either. This is America. The fight is very hard when fully over half the electorate lives a very different life from the other half. We don't interact. We don't live in the same areas. We don't consume the same media. We possess values that are fundamentally different. We have worldviews that are diametrically opposed. I've made optimistic episodes about how important it is to talk to people you don't agree with, but today at least, I'm feeling pretty pessimistic about any of that mattering. But I am a solutions-oriented person, if nothing else, so despite feeling a combination of numbness and despair, and not being in a place to give y'all a pep talk right now, I am interested in talking solutions. The reality is, we cannot rely on the federal government to do anything for us. We cannot rely on the federal courts to check them either. At the very least, we can rely, at least in part, on, hopefully, some adherence to the central Republican tenet of states' rights. We have to focus locally. I made a whole episode on how to get involved in local politics. Please check that out. It is more important now than ever. Who's your governor? Who's your mayor? Who are your state representatives? Who represents you on city council? Follow their social media. Put their numbers on speed dial. Save their email addresses. Find a local advocacy organization doing work you care about. They typically track local legislation and will have information so you can learn what's happening locally and reach out to your representatives to talk about the issues. Push for non-winner-take-all elections like ranked choice voting to help grow the voices of third parties. Your voice is so much louder at the local level than it is on the national level, especially if you are part of a group of like-minded people who you can represent when you go visit your legislator and say, hey, me and this entire group of people feel this way about this piece of legislation. That has a powerful amount of sway. In places like here in Minnesota, we did push further right in this election, but Minneapolis is still overwhelmingly blue, and the momentum to the right isn't too big to overcome. If you live in a red state, this will still be an uphill battle. If I'm being completely honest with you, if I lived in a red state, I would leave. I know that's not possible for many people for so many reasons, but I would do my fucking darndest to figure out a way to make it work. But that's just because today, at this moment in time, I'm so fucking exhausted. I would tap the fuck out if faced with those odds. Maybe at the very least move to a blue part of your red state. But despite those odds, there is progress that can be made at the local level, even in the reddest of states. Whether that's finding the blue dot city or making your voice as loud as possible despite the sea of red, there is power in keeping it local. Because despite my exhaustion and numbness right now, there is a little spark inside me that feels like wanting to be ungovernable. I don't mean like anarchists burning down buildings. I mean like Sinead O'Connor ungovernable. Shave your head. Tear up pictures of the Pope. Wear weird shit. Be unapologetically loud at city council meetings. I don't know. For now, though, I'm going to end this video a little short. I'm going to go lay on the couch. And that's okay, too. Take care of yourself and the people closest to you. That is a radical act in itself. If you want ad-free and uncensored versions of these videos, join me over on Patreon at patreon.com/LeejaMiller. Thank you to my multi-platinum patrons Rex, T, LaTranger Lucas, Joshua Cole, Thomas Johnson, Anthony Giles, Tay, and Brett Piontek. Your generosity makes this channel what it is, so thank you. Please check out my episode about how to get involved in local politics. It is more important now than ever. Thanks so much for watching. Have a good day if you can. Bye!